Did you ever have thoughts of hurting yourself?
Former Disney star Lee Thompson-Young was found dead, but Young's manager said the actor, quote, tragically took his own life.
Soul Train legend Don Cornelius has died.
He died from what investigators are saying at this time was an apparent suicide.
Violator Entertainment founder Chris Lighty has died at the premature age of 43. Sources are saying his death was a suicide via a gunshot wound to the head.
Depression is an illness that affects more than 14 million Americans. But Black Americans seek help for depression far less often than whites do. For Black men, sometimes it's the stigma of mental illness that prevents them from being open about their struggle with depression. 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 Depression.
I mean, we're saying that Black men are 5 times more likely than Black women are to commit suicide. So, I mean, there's a real problem going on, and still we're not addressing it.
There's a real need for the conversation to begin. I mean, Black men increasingly over time have actually been more successful at committing suicide than women. Women tend to attempt suicide using more passive measures. Men tend to actually commit suicide using more aggressive measures. So in an instance where a man is contemplating suicide, 5 to 1, he's going to actually commit suicide.
Suck it up and be a man. I feel bad. I didn't mean to yell at him. My moods are so unpredictable.
I feel sad.
So when was the first time you knew that you were depressed?
Iman had to fend for Iman. So I began to stay in my room, cry myself sometimes, and I felt alone all the time, basically. Even though I did have my mom and a sister that loved me, I knew I had to shield that type of pain from them.
So what made you think that you should take your own life as opposed to something else?
I just had it. I just really had it. I was tired of fighting. I was tired of going through, because this wasn't the first time that love knocked me down or anybody else said something. I was always bullied. My life was just hard. I was tired of it. So I was like, you know what? Why not just go? Go.
So we expect our Black boys and Black men to be angry, but we don't expect them to be sad or depressed or even to have days where they just typically feel blue. And I think if we get to a point where we can understand that these are human emotions, they're not gender specific, then we can allow not only our Black girls, but our Black boys to be able to express how deeply they're hurt and how deeply they are in pain. We have to actually experience these things. We have to talk about these things because our boys are also dying from this.
I am alone. Everything feels so pointless.
I feel so lost and anxious.
Things are going well. Why do I feel like this?
Why do I have sex so much?
What's the point of life?
What's wrong with me?
I can't sleep. I can't eat.
I feel sad.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
I can't do this anymore.
I'm not crazy.
I am not crazy. I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
I am not crazy.
I am not crazy. I'm not crazy.
And I remember Chris Rock telling me once that 4 of his friends who were comics committed suicide, shot themselves in the head, you know? So it's the funniest person that you know who could be the one who's suffering the most.
So we have to be aware that when we talk about depression, it's not just about having sleep issues, appetite issues, being sad all the time. Depression can manifest itself in so many different ways, including rage, including the slow suicide that we've talked about, as far as very destructive behaviors.
I guess the hard part was not knowing. I mean, I guess I'll always feel like maybe I could have done something. But I didn't have a clue.